Hello everyone, this is a Steven Universe theory video on how strong is Sardonyx. And just like with the other how strong is videos, specifically the fusion ones, examples like Sugilite, Opal, and Smoky Quartz, and so on, it's just pretty much as simple as I take the fusion of choosing, this time Sardonyx, and I just explain what powers and abilities that fusion can use in a fight and or battle, which abilities they could use and or will most likely use when it comes down to certain things within a fight and so much. And then the other half of the video is just me talking about where they stack up against other characters and fusions and other things like that. And if you don't know how this works, I just take the fusion's two individuals that make up the fusion, so this time Garnet and Pearl, and I explain the abilities that they have that Sardonyx can also use, and then the abilities that Sardonyx exclusively has. So this time, I'm going to start with Garnet this time. With the Garnet part of Sardonyx, Sardonyx can clearly just use Garnet's two gauntlets that she can summon with no real problem. And I know I brought this up within the Sugilite video, thinking that, or well, I did possibly say that Sugilite could have the possibility of using 4 gauntlets, because she has 4 arms, and so does Sardonyx. But I saw a comment on that video, and I don't remember your name. I'm extremely sorry, but you know who you are if you are watching this video from the Sugilite video. He did bring up a good point in saying that, no, I don't really think that Sugilite could use 4 gauntlets because she doesn't have 4 gems to summon 4 gauntlets. And, you know, that did make kind of sense. You know, 1 gem in 1 gauntlet for each hand. So when it comes to this type of thing, 4 gauntlets, not so much. I don't really think that Sardonyx would even really need it too much because of her style and just personality. 2 gauntlets, yeah, that's how she does things and everything else. Other abilities, Future Vision, does Sardonyx have it? Definitely, I could see Sardonyx using Future Visions to have the right possibility or right future when it comes to these type of things. And I guess for another, like, comedic effect is, she could probably just use Future Vision to come up with the right joke. So if this joke didn't hit off right in this future, she can just go to another future or just have this Future Vision tell her which joke will do the best. This one's going to be a little bit silly when it comes to Sardonyx, not so much in fighting terms, so just be aware of that. And then the electric power, I know some people brought that up from I think my Sugilite video, yeah, thinking that if Sardonyx or Sugilite could have this power. I don't really think that either of them could have this power, Sardonyx and Sugilite I'm referring to. I don't think they would really need to use Garnet's electric power. And if you're also thinking about Ruby and Sapphire's fire and ice power, also no, because, well, Garnet barely uses both of those powers. Not even both, but all 3 of those powers. She doesn't use the fire or ice, and she rarely uses the electric powers, especially for offensive. She's only used it once when it comes to offensive abilities. And then the last ability for Garnet would be shapeshifting. I know it's not like an exclusive ability so much. I know Pearl could also do it so much, but she doesn't do it on a regular basis, and we haven't actually seen her shapeshift at all for that matter. So this one goes to Garnet. For Garnet, though, she's adept with shapeshifting when it comes to stretching, though. So stretching is kind of like her own thing in a way. So I could see Sardonyx using stretching to do a lot of things. If she needs to grab something from far away, like Steven or Amethyst, whatever, maybe even her hammer if it got knocked out of her hands, she could just stretch and probably get it. If she could stretch all 4 arms, probably, because it kind of fits her character in a comedic sense. But that's pretty much it for the Garnet part. Can use 2 gauntlets, has Future Vision, not so much on the, the electric powers, and then she has shapeshifting. So with that done, we go on to the Pearl part. When it comes to Pearl, Pearl doesn't have too many abilities when it comes to fighting. She just pretty much has her basic combat and ballerina skills, and then her spear, and I guess I have to mention it as well, because people kept nagging me about it from the last video or so. Her holograms. Pearl doesn't really use them too much in an actual fight. She only uses them for, like, training and then demonstrations, not so much in an actual fight. So holograms, not so much in a fight, even when it comes to Pearl and Sardonyx. So no, Sardonyx couldn't really use the hologram feature too much. Pearl Spear, on the other hand, yeah, she could use Pearl Spear with no problem. She could even summon 2 if necessary, and can shoot out the little blast that does come from Pearl's spear, like the little bolts or fireballs, I think that's what they're called, in the RPG game Attack of the Light. And I didn't bring this up from the Garnet part, but as again, I don't think that Sardonyx or Pearl uses the upgraded version of the weapon for the spear, the Trident feature. Garnet, on the other hand, I could see her using that. So, referring back to the Garnet part real quick, Sardonyx could use the brass knuckles that comes with Garnet's gauntlets, so that's a plus. But other than everything else I just mentioned for Pearl, there's not too much that Sardonyx can use. So, for a little recap, Sardonyx can use Pearl Spears and the features that come with it, such as the shooting fireballs or the blasts, as they're sometimes called, and holograms, not so much. But now for the talk show hostess herself, Sardonyx. We all know that Sardonyx has her classic Warhammer, as I think it's called, or just her hammer. She could use that. It's just the fusion of Garnet's gauntlets and then Pearl Spear. The hammer, it doesn't smash specifically, it just knocks things around, because she doesn't smash all the time. She only smashes occasionally, so keep that in mind. Though I guarantee if she probably hits something hard enough with her full strength, she could probably break something. Not to the size or destruction of Sugilite, but you know what I mean. It would just break. Not into tiny pieces, but just big pieces. But then the other feature would be the drill feature that comes with the hammer. Not really sure how that still works, honestly, but whatever. I'm not here to talk about how things work. I'm here to talk how strong they are. The drill feature, it could drill right through anything. If I could probably think of it, it could poof a gem if she tries hard enough, though I don't think that she would necessarily need to do that. I don't think she's too keen on violence so much, so yeah. The drill feature, though, it is pretty deadly if Sardonyx does get angry enough, or she's feeling, I don't know, violent enough. She can drill a gem. Now, I'm not confirming that she can, but it does seem like that drill can pierce through pretty much anything if she tried hard enough. And then the last feature would be, as I said before, with Garnet's upgraded gauntlets, the brass knuckles, that could also go into Sardonyx's hammer, since the little pieces of the hammer, or the fists I think I should call it, those would also have brass knuckles as well. At least how I would see how that would work. So the hammer would not only smash through stuff, but it would also, well, I wouldn't say smash, but knocks around stuff. But now it could smash through stuff due to the brass knuckles feature. And that's pretty much it when it comes to Sardonyx. There's nothing too fancy to that. Her own, I guess her own special ability would be that the fact that she's very versatile. Not versatile, but articulate. That's the word I'm looking for. Very flexible and a bit of agile when it comes to that. About as agile as Opal. I wouldn't say extremely agile, but pretty agile in a way. And very articulate. So that comes in handy when she needs to stuff, when it comes to wind up and anything else for a bit of flavor and style to it. And the last thing, before any of you mention it, no, Sardonyx is not on the chart, like the strong chart from Know Your Fusion. She's not on there, so don't bring it up. So I can't compare to anybody on that chart, okay? I didn't see it on there, and I checked 3 times to make sure as well. So that's pretty much it. And the last thing is, how strong is Sardonyx, if you're probably wondering. Me, in my opinion, I want to say that she's, due to her being more Pearl and Sapphire, in a way, with her personality combined with Garnet, Sardonyx does seem like she's extremely close to the strength of Sugilite. If not that, if you're probably considering stronger, she's equal to Sugilite. To me, that's just a little too much, but I could see it if she does try hard enough, because she does have the drill feature, which could go through anything, and the hammer could knock down Sugilite and trip her up a bit. But yeah, as a recap, final one, Sardonyx is just as strong, if not very, very, very close to the strength of Sugilite. Not like the physical strength, but overall strength of Sugilite. But let me know what you think in the comments below. Have any questions, comments, or concerns? I'll try to answer them the best I can. Want to draw any fan art for the channel? Be greatly appreciated. But until then, bye.